Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Benefield, Brooks, Frizzalone, Gould, Hart, Ogalla, Parker, Staley Ferry, Tuminello, Weigel, Winfrey, and Mustis. You have a quorum.
Okay. Next, we have the approval of minutes from February 8th.
So moved.
Move second. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have executive session minutes from February 8th.
Move.
You got a motion? Second. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any old business to bring forward today? Any old business? Okay, on the new business, we have we have to go in a public hearing for the change of Hill Street in Joliet Township, County Board District 8. So I will entertain a motion to go into public hearing. We got a motion. Second. Take the roll, please.
Mayor?
Yes.
Benefield?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Frizzalone?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Ogalla?
Yes.
Parker? Staley Ferry?
Yes.
Tuminello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
And Mustis.
Yes. Okay, we are now in public hearing. Does anyone like to give any comments or testimony about the changing the name of Hill Street in Joliet Township? Okay. Any comments?
Just taking the S off, right?
Any
Just
comments?
taking the S off.
They're just
Taking the S off.
yeah, it's taking the S off.
No more plural, just singular.
Not hills, hill. This is
Not
no more
hill there.
hills.
only one hill.
Only one hill. Okay.
Move to come out?
Yes. Okay. Got a motion to come out of executive session. We have a second. And take the roll, please.
Yes.
Benefield?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Frizzalone?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Ogalla?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Staley Ferry?
Yes.
Tuminello?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Winfrey?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We're out of public hearing. Next, we have authorizing the name change of Hill Street to Hill Street in Joliet Township, Joliet District number 8. Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the voting bid for well abandonment land use. Rita, do you want to comment on this? Rita here.
This is a very old existing well on property in Manhattan, and we received 0 bids for it, so we need to void it.
Okay. All right.
Motion.
Moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have this is to place the presentation of the United Way on the Will County Board agenda.
So moved.
Moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have replacement hires for the Division of Transportation. Moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have replacement hires for the Supervisor of Assessments Office.
Moved.
Moved. And there's a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Proclamations.
Yeah, we had 4, but we're going to bring 3 forward and ask that the girls from Joliet West come back in April. Okay?
Okay. Any other? Entertain a motion to place the proclamations on the agenda.
So moved.
Motion. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We got appointments by the county executive. First, we have appointments for Metra, a Metro appointment. I'll entertain a motion to place that on the agenda. Move. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have the rest of the appointments for the county executive being placed for commissions.
So moved.
Moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So we will vote separately, as we vote separately often on appointments. So the Metro one will be separate. Okay. I actually think that, I have for discussion the appropriation safe passage donation. But we discussed this
Right.
at finance.
yeah.
I don't know if you want to rehash it, or Mike, you want to just report out on it? But
I
there is
think we just got a written explanation of what Kathleen did tell us at the meeting, so I think we're all good on this, so we can move forward to the.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
Second.
I move to do that, second.
So place it, we're going to place it under finance?
Right.
Okay, so we got a motion, second, to place this item under finance.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next thing, I'd like to have a brief discussion on liquor licenses, and I did talk to Mary briefly before the meeting. Here's kind of the situation. We froze the number of liquor licenses. There have been a couple folks that have come forward to ask about, well, what is the process of getting a liquor license? Well, the process first would be to get a special use on the property for purpose of a liquor license. But then how do we, if our intent is to bring it forward for that applicant, and that they can go all the way through with the special use and the liquor license, so it's just not, because technically if you just increase the liquor licenses, the liquor commissioner can give it to anybody who asks for it, if it's in that class. Is the way it sits now. That's how I'm interpreting it, Mary. So is there a way of doing a parallel process for both special use and the expansion of a liquor license for that person? Mary's going to look at this and give us some suggestions.
I think it would be best for me to meet with the executive's office and land
Yeah.
use so that we can try to work out what would be the best process to move these forward.
So I would agree. So we need to work on that. Jim, you, Nick, we need to see what you think the process would work also. So all we can tell folks that are making inquiries is we're working on it. I would like to come back with something though in the next month or two, so we can at least have a process in place, how it would work. Okay? All right, yeah, go ahead.
I have been fortunate to serve on the Liquor Commission up in Naperville, and one of the things that we've done when we've taken a look at increasing the numbers when a cap has been put is looking at the region from a regional area. So if someone's applying for a liquor license in one area and there's too much density already, then we would say no. But if it's going into another area that has less density of liquor opportunities, selling, then that might be something that we would consider. So if that would be the case, and in working with the executive's office, is that, it has to come back to the board to actually approve. So we basically act as the Liquor Commission's committee, correct?
I think the criteria that we work on would include that. I mean, that's partly.
That's one variable that's in that whole process.
But here's also the other issue is, where you just say, well, there's no licenses. Well, there's a difference for somebody who wants to open up a restaurant,
right,
for on-premise, and for somebody who wants to open up a on-premise bar where it's basically liquor, not a restaurant, or packaged liquor. So, we have to kind of define how we're going to move forward with different.
I don't even know. How
licenses.
many different licenses do we have, Nick? Do you know?
Classifications, we have
many?
we have package, we have liquor.
I mean, there's like A through J, A through L. I know there is. I know there's a ton of them.
Can I just say one thing, Bill? I mean, Jim handles the liquor license, so I'll defer to him on the specifics, but the one case in particular I know is people are getting called, I was contacted. I mean, right now the process is, because we don't have excess licenses around like we did in the past, that they have to go through the special use permit first, and that's they're spending money on that. They could get that approved and then come for a liquor license and the board can turn it down. So I guess that's where there's some risk to the applicant that you're going to spend money and you may, so, and I know there's oftentimes supporters in the community, but there's also opponents. And the one in particular, I know in the Fairmont area, there's a lot of opponents that we've heard from. There may be people who are advocating for this also, but that's.
Well,
What kind of business is it?
let me, that's packaged liquors. But
Packaged liquor.
let me say this, Nick, I understand that. But someone who had a number of different liquor licenses on different areas, it's always a risk you take.
Right.
And let me say, there were times I went through the special use process and was denied initially. So, yeah, I maybe I had to re-go back. Right.
I only mention that, Mr. Moose, just because the process has changed a little bit. I mean, it involves a county board process and the liquor commissioner.
So, but here's how I kind of look at it. Not that it could necessarily work this way, but I would hope that a county board would not vote for a special use and then without having the intent of issuing the liquor license. I mean, that would be kind of crummy, right? Even though it happened to me here,
why you know it's crummy.
but that's kind of crummy, right? I mean, so I would say to board members, you know, when you're doing these special use, I would hope that you know that the intent of the board then is to issue the license. I think there needs to be a connection between the executive's office and the county board when that license, if we expand the license, that is for that person. I'm not as worried about the county board as I am the county executive's office saying, well, I got three applicants and 2 are qualified, I'm going to give it to him instead. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there has to be, not that that would happen, Nick, but it could. It could.
In the past, there were excess licenses, and if people met the qualifications, I believe they were granted, if they got their, proper paperwork and did all the process. Now, the board has a greater say, and if you don't increase the licenses, we can't issue them. So you can say no.
So here's the other.
We want to work together.
Yeah, we're going to work together on this. We're all on the same page. We just want to see. So the other thing, Mary, I would ask you is do we have the ability also to say this license is for this specific, in the special use process,
You raise them by categories.
can we put geography on the license?
A little worried about what road you're going down.
Yeah, me too. I'm too worried. That's why I'm getting to you. I don't want to look like, I want to see that we have a sound process, and it's just not something that kind of willy-nilly or arbitrary and capricious on our part. I mean, I want to. I mean, what the intent. What our intent is. They show us how to do it in a proper way. All right, and if we can have something to look at in a couple months, I think that'd be fine. Okay, great. All right. Anybody else have any other input on that? Okay. Any other? Judy, I'm going to bring up, we talked a little earlier. You want to bring that up? Suzanne, you need to pay attention on this. So, Judy asked for a letter to go forward that we would send to the president to opiate issues. And I did explain that, I think it's fine that a committee wants to send something, but then we have to have a process of going through and making sure everybody's aware of it. I don't know, Judy, you want to talk to this?
Sure.
The letter's done. I think that, but it's something I think the executive committee members should review. Legislative should review probably.
So
I personally don't have a problem
Okay.
doing it, but.
So
go ahead.
Public Health and Safety Committee meeting last month, we had Dr. Kathleen Burke comes every month, gives us an update on everything. And so she was just talking about, what was that, 1115, our Medicaid waiver, I believe, right? And so ours we've been waiting 18 months already for it. So since the State of the Union the president addressed the opioid issue. We thought we would send a letter thanking him for making it recognized at the national level, and then just saying the importance of us getting this Medicaid waiver and why. And we just talked about the number of deaths we've had here in Will County. Like, you know, everyone has so many different things going on. So that's basically what the letter is. It was coming from Public Health and Safety Committee, but also like the board as well. With Jim would be, we asked for Jim to sign it as well.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm asking the committee is, if there's
She would like to be added to the letter.
yeah, well, if there, well, here, I want to talk about process.
Yeah.
So if a committee wants to do something of this nature, you know, certainly I don't think I think we need to have some kind of process for that, you know. So does the committee maybe put something together
Submit to the executive.
and then submit it to the executive committee for its approval to
Yeah.
be sent?
I think
I think it can be that simple. So
We can add that to our agenda.
make that a policy.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to establish a
Yes.
process.
Policy.
That's all.
Policy and legislative.
Yeah.
I believe that it should come to the executive committee for us to look at. I personally don't know how the other committee members feel, but if we're sending letters to Washington DC, to the president's office, or to senators, or even downstate, you know, before we sign off that, you know, Will County's looking for this, I personally would like to know what's in the letter before.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah.
Everybody will see
Yeah.
the letter. Well, in this case, the
I'm talking about
legislative,
but if it's coming from her committee and we don't get to see it,
No.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
but everybody should see it.
No, it's
Yeah.
gonna, everyone's gonna see it.
Everybody
We're gonna
should
have
see
to go
it.
to the legislative, to our committee.
So-
Right.
And we're all on that committee.
Because the first one.
yeah, but there's
first thing-
individuals in here that are not on the committee. Right.
And
Yeah.
then-
It has to come to the executive. It has to go to the
no
entire
matter what,
board.
it's gonna
Before
be-
it's sent out.
Yes,
the bottom
that's,
line.
that's all I'm trying,
Right.
that's the point I'm trying to make.
It's
So I
perfect,
think it goes
Jim.
from,
I
it
mean,
goes,
anybody else. Perfect.
if it originates in a committee, it works its way up to the executive committee, and then we put it out there.
This will be the
Perfect.
final, okay.
Because you're gonna have, I think, additional discussion. So, you know, Nick, I'm gonna look at you and let me ask, you know,
'Cause you're only
our lobbyists in Washington have helped us with agencies in the past. Have we asked Jim Smith if he could help with this?
That's what I was saying, that's why I should
I
say
mean,
that.
we have done the letters in the past, though, that have come under the blessing of the legislative chair and leadership. We've done those
Right.
without bringing them to the full board. So, we might want to build into that process like a timeliness.
Oh, yeah, I think,
Can't always wait
Right.
a month for.
it may be, it's just sent out to everybody, and if you have a problem, let us know, right,
Everybody knows, 'cause I mean,
yeah.
there's
So,
no problem with being
so
there.
on this,
Right,
on this
that's my
particular issue, though, have we asked our Washington lobbyists if they could help with the agency or see where we're at on this?
We've done letters to agencies, and we just, I think not too long ago, did a letter to, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, but not, but no, excuse me, I mean, I'm not saying this, I guess I'm not getting across what I'm trying. So have, on this particular problem, have we asked our lobbyists on this particular issue to contact the agencies? It may be on the agenda, doesn't mean they've,
It's part of the legislative agenda.
it doesn't mean they've personally contacted them.
It's just a thank you.
I'm just,
Well, we have a very robust opioid and substance abuse section this year, much more than previous years, because we've taken on a lot more initiatives. So doing something specific on that, highlighting that, yes, we can absolutely do that.
The thank you was.
and actually make contact with the agency. You know, I might point out, you know, I'm not for paying anybody any additional money on these contracts, but, you know, sometimes there could be issues like this that we might ask our lobbyists to put a little additional effort or contact the agencies that could require a little bit of extra work. I've always said to our consultants, if we want you to do something a little bit more, that goes above and beyond, you know, we would have to compensate you for that. These are the kind of issues that if you want to elevate and have them work with the agencies, push our application and so forth, there may be some additional billing for that, but it'd be worth it in many instances. So I'm just kind of laying that out for you to let you know there could be some additional costs when we go, if we start going to our lobbyists. This would be one of them, I think.
Where do we define the line of us bringing from legislative of the letters that we're taking to the agencies to the various congressional, offices? So I guess it seems a little loose up in the air of what we're talking about. I mean, is it because it's the president that we want to go ahead and make this? And I thought it was more of a. I guess
what I'm trying to point out is there.
It's an ask because it's the president. So we say we're getting one to the president because I don't want to get into that habit of every of these letters that we do that we're bringing it to executive. All of our letters and any of our asks.
Well,
any of our, so
I disagree with you. I think that the committee, this executive committee, and the entire county board should know what we're sending out.
Well, we can have oversight, but sometimes, like,
Suzanne, let me say this. We're not sending all that many. I mean, let me say this. The county board gives a certain amount of discretion to chairman of committees, to me as myself as speaker, and some things have to be done very timely. That doesn't mean that the entire board shouldn't be informed, and if there's time, they could be informed prior to a letter going out. Sometimes things have to go out immediately, but even then, I think the board should certainly be aware of what letters went out. Every county board member should be sent a letter, even if it's after the fact. Now, they may disagree after the fact and say, well, I don't agree with that. But we're not talking about your certain chairman ability to respond in a timely manner. We're talking about making sure that a board is well informed.
If we're sending stuff out and making requests of our lobbyists to go do something, and that activity has already been identified in our federal agenda, does that really warrant additional dollars? Because they already know that this is coming down the pipe.
If you want them to work directly with that agency,
but aren't they supposed to be following agencies anyways? And working with the agency already?
The thing is, Chuck, I think they make sure the agency's aware of it. I think they contact.
Right.
Above and beyond all the time for this. So,
that's why I'm saying I don't want to necessarily throw out the fact that it's additional dollars unless it's additional projects.
And you can't. And this should be a conversation.
Well, let me say this. If they're going above and beyond, then what you're saying, Chuck, if we're taking advantage of them, we should just keep taking advantage of them.
No, we should just maybe give them a raise and just do it.
Is that your?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No,
we're putting the screws to them. We should continue doing that.
If that's the way you'd like to look at it, Jim. That's not the way I'm going to spin this.
Yeah. So, all right.
Just so, what we're doing right now, we've done the federal agenda. We've approved the federal agenda. It has various pieces in it which we will highlight. As you all know, we said this at legislative committee. We have a comprehensive book with a lot of issues. So those who have been to Washington before know that we focus on a couple key issues. I would assume, but that's not my call to make, is we're going to focus on infrastructure and these opiate issues, because those are two big issues for the county. We'll touch on the other items, but we have, for those who don't know, we have gone beyond just meeting with the congressional delegation, but we have gone to agencies, and it depends on the year. But, Mr. Moussis, to your point, if we want more effort, then I think we might have that discussion with the lobbyists and say, but they are doing, to Suzanne's point, they are doing, as you know this, we've gone to the delegation, so the 6 congressional offices, the 270. Last year we went to HHS to talk about the opioid issue. We've gone to the EPA before, we've gone to the Federal Highway Administration last year in the last several years. I had some very good meetings. They are doing agencies too, because when they stopped earmarks, we thought it would make a lot more sense to get into the agencies because we're talking grant dollars and allocation.
But they don't work just when we show up to Washington. They're
No, they're
supposed to
working
be doing stuff
across,
when we're not there too.
Reagan and Suzanne and I are on calls on a monthly basis, talking about grants, weekly sometimes. When there was just a letter that went out recently on the infrastructure talking about our needs. So, there's no problem, at least from our perspective, of distributing it to all the board members. I think that's just a matter of how we want to do that. And if we have time, we'll come to the committee to talk about it too. I think legislative is the appropriate place, but we could also.
I mean, I would say like this letter, for example. I'd like to know where the application is with the agency. I'd like to know what is the length of time it takes to go through. This may be something that's normal. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to know where it stands. Go ahead, Scott.
This waiver, over 18 months ago, even longer than that, they allowed us to submit a waiver for two different reasons. One was for something that DHS wants, but the secondary one was the increase in beds, the cap on beds for treatment. And so what's occurred is that was the transition of the administration. So things, changed, the departments changed and stuff. So far, they've only approved two, one in Indiana, and the other one, I believe, in West Virginia. And what was required of each of those is that they had to put a Medicaid stipulation that you have a work program. So my concern was that the ones that were going to be approved were only the ones that had a work program attached to Medicaid recipients, which ours did not, at least at the point it was submitted. So when the president said that he was supportive of opioids, it was an opportune time to reinforce that with him and the staff and say, we've been waiting 18 months because it's my understanding that efficiency is kind of important to our President Trump and that he might say something, yeah. So that was what was motivating that.
Right.
This waiver, I talked to Senator McGuire because it's a state agency. So it seems to me that our state legislators should be sitting on our federal folks and getting something done. So I've also done that to kind of push this along. Because in Will County, we have a shortage of beds.
So actually, it's equally as important. I mean, you send a letter, and if the response is, "Hey, the problem's with your state," what do we do then? I mean, I'm just saying before we send anything, we should make sure. Well, we should make sure where the real bottleneck is, or what the process is. I just, in this particular letter.
The state, I don't know currently, the state of Illinois has a federal presence, or they have in the past, because I forget her name, Kathy, used to be with Congresswoman Bigger.
I know who you're talking about,
She
yeah.
used to be their president. She's no longer there, but they have a presence too. So we should probably revisit the state contacts and see what they're doing and probably coordinate with them. Because it's really the state lobbyists, the state of Illinois federal reps lobbying in Washington, working with us and our lobbyists. So why don't we dig into this a little more?
Yeah, before we send the letter, I think we should.
But from the executive's office, whatever process you want to do, distribute it. But I think we've always gone through the county board office because that way they're distributed to who you want to distribute it to.
Of course, I usually am privy to it. From now on, I'll just send it out to everybody. If we have time, we'll bring it to the committee for discussion.
The purpose of this letter is to bring attention to that something is being delayed and is impacting our county.
Yeah, but we're not sure, Kathleen, exactly. I'd like to see exactly where the delay occurs, what the problem is, and we can address it maybe on a two-front basis, or I think we just need to, rather than just send a letter off, I don't want a letter coming back and say it's your fault it hasn't been done, because you didn't do this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Never your fault, I know.
Always.
But then yeah. But I don't want to come back and say this problem is because of Nick Palmer. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying. Before we send off any letters, let's make sure that you know, we're covering all our bases to be most effective, all right? All right, Judy? Okay, all right. Anything else you want to comment?
We want to have, just for my reference, a further discussion on process as far as these letters.
Probably.
So maybe Suzanne and
We'll
Administrative and policy committee?
you know, it's an executive committee, because you're not going to make policy for yourself.
Then we're gonna talk about all the committees.
All this is everybody.
All right.
Oh, you think this was just about you? It's about everybody.
We'll talk about transparency of all the committees.
Absolutely. It's not about transparency. It's about, Suzanne, it's whether a committee or a committee member, chairman, should take a position for this entire county and put it, for this entire county and county board on their own. It's about us working together. I'm part of it. I understand that. I'm talking about so everyone else is informed. You can't work in a bubble. So, all right.
Jim, I have one other issue for new business, if we're done with that.
Yep, go ahead.
I need a spot saved on the agenda for Thursday's meeting. Currently, the state's attorney is working on an agreement with ComEd for a transfer of property. This has to do with the electrical needs of the new courthouse, and I just need to make sure that we have it. I was informed that we will have it from the executive's office for this Thursday.
All right, who's that, David?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to comment, or we're going to approve?
This is the power source, the power feed for the new courthouse, okay? And the reconfiguration, which involves an underground feed to the southeast corner of Washington and Ottawa Street, okay? And then up into the equipment, and then from the equipment, which is proposed to be located on an easement approximately 1,000 square feet on county property on that corner, okay? Then we'll go west down Washington Street, underground of course, and encased in concrete also, to feed the building and supply the electricity, the dual feed electricity to the new courthouse building. So that's closer to the,
Yeah.
So I mean, so they got to put this equipment somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
And
There's never a perfect place.
my impression in talking to a few people is that, because I was thinking, well, we would negotiate a cost and sell them that easement, but my understanding is that the standard practice is there is no negotiation, because the feeling of the utility is such that, look, you need this, so why should we pay for that easement? So that's how I understand it. So it would be like for $1.
So everything, all the Ts are crossed, the
Yes.
Is are dotted.
Yeah.
Joliet's fine with it. I mean, I assume they sign off as the permitting agency here. Okay.
I just want to, you know, what I would like to do with direction of this committee would be to just sit with the city to make sure.
Okay.
Because
So you'll do that then before the meeting?
Right, and the other issue is that they, word has it that they just let their contract for their storm sewer main project to deconstruction, and that is going to start this summer and involve Washington. So
Okay. Is this
a lot of
something,
coordination.
is this something that has to go, needs additional approval of the county board, or is this all done under the construction?
No, my understanding was that because it involved, and in talking with the state's attorney, it involves the permanent transfer
of land.
County
So
real
that
estate,
needs,
so it has
so
to
you
come-
need a space left on the agenda?
Yes.
Under, we can do it under capital.
It's up.
We'll be ready.
Or we can, we'll put it under executive, just leave it under executive.
Okay.
So somebody want to enter, I'll entertain a motion to
Move.
place this item
Second.
on the executive committee agenda for the county board.
Question.
Okay, we have a motion second.
Question, question.
Oh, no,
Yes.
sorry, next thing.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Gretchen has another issue she wants to bring up. Go ahead.
Yes, so I've been contacted by a board member of Kendall County about the Aurora Election Commission, and the poor residents of Aurora they straddle 4 counties. So they the Aurora Election Commission handles their elections. This is back from 1934, when people had to go to the county seat to vote, and so this was done as a convenience to the people of Aurora. The other 3 counties involved have all made official statements about abolishing the Aurora Election Commission in favor of it. And it is also, there's a referendum on the ballot of all 4 counties to abolish it. The other 3 counties would like Will County to either pass a resolution or make some sort of public proclamation that we are in favor of abolishing the Election Commission.
Well, let me ask this question. How many precincts do we have?
I believe it's 7.
In Aurora?
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 or 8 precincts.
So we're saying that we're in favor, I'm just getting clarification, we're in favor of eliminating for our 7 precincts, and we're in favor of Kendall County eliminating the whole thing?
We're in favor of the abolishing of the entire election commission, and that Will County would absorb those 7 precincts. So right now, one of the main problems.
Can we absorb those in Will County?
Well, it would.
For election purposes, yeah.
Right. I mean, it would come under the jurisdiction of the Will County clerk, and I don't know that they would be absorbed in the exact configuration they are now. That's something that I think would have to be looked at, because I'm not sure if those precincts are 100% in Will County, if they're partially in other counties. I'm not sure how they would divide it up, but we have been, the Will County clerk is very aware of this issue, and she just, you know, I think she has concerns, and I don't want to speak for Nancy, and I don't think she's here, but just that there be enough lead time given so that the various county clerks can acquire the necessary equipment and personnel to manage these precincts, because they'll have to have more judges, they will have to have voting machines and whatnot, and hopefully they can work with the Aurora Commission to get the names of their judges and whatnot. So
It is a pain in the neck.
And their financial,
for us.
and their dollars.
it does create issues on election night when we're trying to get numbers from the various election commissions. There are sometimes delays and whatnot to getting the final.
Usually they don't report until the next day. And so you don't really, for our district, we don't know what the results are. And for the countywide candidates as well. You don't know what the results are really until the next day. And that's still preliminary, because then it has to be certified 2 weeks later.
I don't think they're very cooperative either.
They're not very effective. People make requests of them. It takes them days, weeks to respond to requests for information, for anything. They spend a lot of money. My understanding is their computer systems are outdated. They don't work with ours. Just really bad.
Question, do we know where their budget comes from? Is that from the?
It's a taxing body.
Okay, so we should be able to get, if we're gonna do this absorption.
Yeah, their own taxing.
They should be able to take those dollars that they've been collecting over the years and provide it to us.
They spent all their money.
Well,
As they go forward.
as they go forward,
But
they will continue, they're gonna have to eliminate their taxing body
Right.
at some point.
Exactly.
Did you say that?
But they should still be able to, they're still gonna collect for another year or so.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't
As they
know
go through
about
the
that.
process.
The other thing to consider
That's
is,
their county.
it is a referendum. So if this passes, I mean, whether we're on board or not, it could
gonna
happen.
happen.
Yeah. At some point, it will happen, yes.
Nancy spoke before you guys on maybe a year ago, and she did have concerns because there's a lot of unanswered questions, if I recall, you know, and what would be the cost. I mean, again, I don't want to, Larry doesn't want to speak on her behalf, but we can have Nancy come. Do you want me to see if she's here right now?
I think that would be,
Okay.
because we talked about it too, we talked about it in our committee. And she said it was going to cost us more so than we can handle right now in the budget. That was her big concern. But we've never had real dollars, we've never had actual
Jim.
dollars.
Yeah.
Well, how much does it take you to run a precinct? I mean, I don't
No,
think it's.
but one of the things that I think that came up a couple of years ago was that we were gonna, how much it would cost us if we took those over while they stayed in the Aurora Election Commission. If they dissolve that and we get them, we should be able to levy and get those tax dollars that would offset
Should.
Well, hopefully she'll
Right.
come upstairs with real numbers.
Yeah.
She's looked at it, because this is like the first time this has came out.
How do we get those numbers?
Yeah, you can't tax into another
That
county.
would be creative.
It's Will County.
It's Will County.
This is more complicated.
No. It doesn't be, oh, that's right, it is Will County.
And that's why we're having
Oh,
this
that's right, it is Will County. Yeah, I understand that, but why would we get additional money?
There's a separate tax.
to pay for those additional machines and software to upgrade and make sure all 7 of those precincts are at the same quality.
We're already taxing
We're
it.
taxing.
We're already
We'd
taxing
have
it.
to set up a special
No, I'm
taxing
saying,
commission like Aurora. There's no tax numbers.
no. I'm saying that if we do that, Aurora's taxing body should give us dollars for the initial startup cost.
I'm just gonna let everybody just talk amongst themselves. Talk amongst
I'm gonna get some water until you get control of the board.
Talk amongst yourselves. No, I'm waiting for Nancy. Talk amongst yourselves. You know?
Hey, Jim, are we waiting on Nancy?
Right.
No, I did. Yeah. No, Mike, one of my questions.
If I can have some quiet, okay. Don, Denise, let Darren talk. Yeah, they're gonna, see, they're in such deep conversation there. They're gonna, okay, can I have some,
Hey,
we have a member who wants to speak, and you may have a little quiet, go ahead.
Listen, I get it that we'd
Talk louder
like
than
we'd
that,
like to
that's
have
all.
Nancy's input on this. One of my thoughts though is Nancy's not running for re-election here in the upcoming election.
So then she'll be brutally honest with us.
And I would. I live in District 5, and so I've been dealing with the Aurora Election Commission since I got elected, and they're difficult to deal with on many levels. They require different forms to stand there, to poll watch, everything. It's difficult. They're slow moving.
They're not open that much.
Yeah. One of the things that we were discussing over here is I also believe that in Aurora, they print ballots in English and in Spanish. And so, my concern about that is if this referendum passes and we absorb this, are we going to have to follow that same standard that's already been set?
No. We have to do it now if there's a certain percentage. We don't.
Does Nancy have someone bring coming up?
She's unavailable, but she actually did plan, I spoke to Beth in her office, she did plan on putting something through Minute Check to be before you guys in April, one of the April meetings.
But
It's
after
on the
the
March
primary.
20th ballot.
Yeah, so we need to either take a position now or.
Anyway, what the heck, it's March 8th.
Well, okay.
Doesn't make now.
All right, well, okay, why don't we just get down to the issue then? I mean, do we want to support I don't know, if we do it by proclamation or resolution of saying that we are in favor of,
Absorbing.
Jim?
well, that we're absorbing, that we're, the dissolution of the Aurora.
Jim?
The Aurora
Yeah.
election.
I think we should save it. I think we should save a spot on next week's board, and then get the information. I'd like to see a copy of that, and then have Nancy maybe send out an email to us.
Give our
That's fine.
caucuses each a chance to also discuss it.
Well, I was going to say that,
information
so
before.
just so you know, you're going to have this debate at the meeting. Usually we try to have these debates prior to the meeting, so we all pretty much have a position. I mean, what we're doing here, you're going to wind up doing at the county board. I don't know.
Or at least our caucuses, to get a chance to figure out where the groups are going with
Look,
this.
I'm in favor of eliminating it, but I was in favor of eliminating it a long time ago. Because it is.
I actually
They don't
sent an
function
email about
very well.
this like a year ago. I mean, we've been trying to get this done for a really long time.
Probably should have brought it up a little sooner, but,
Jim, I think I read this morning in the paper that Chris Lausen in Kane County put forth that if the city would send them $500,000 or $600,000, that they would be able to absorb Kane County's portion, and that indicates
well,
to
it's
me
primary,
that,
yeah, well, pretty much.
and it's primarily in Kane County, and I
correct.
believe the budget at the AAC that I read was $1.3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know what the small portion of Will County is there, but quite honestly.
What's the cost us per precinct is all we need to know.
Well, that's-
And our multiplier by 7.
Got it.
That should be a pretty easy number to come up with.
Well, I think it's about 800,000.
I'm gonna push you to
I'm
take
just
a-
kidding.
Nice job.
I'm gonna push you to.
You're writing the check?
Take a position on this, so, who's in favor of this, the concept of opposing and sending a, we can continue to talk. I'm just trying to get a feel of whether people are supportive of this or not. Are people supportive of a
Yes.
resolution?
Yes, with conditions.
With conditions and dollars.
That's my point.
Okay, well, Suzanne, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say, I really find it, especially with respect of looking at more of these actual dollars. I'm 100% in agreement with both Gretchen and Darren. I've seen this. You know, this was right next to us. That was my
Right.
district.
Yeah, well, you did have Aurora at one
Right, that
time.
was my district, and I'm gonna tell you, everything Gretchen is saying is 100% spot on. I just wanna see what the actual, like, no one has shown hardcore dollars of what it's going to be. You know, it's, of course, this is very important, but in the same fact, if it's gonna cost us, and if I remember right, I did talk to Nancy about it last year, and she made it sound like there's a lot of, like, it was something outlandish, and that's all I'm saying.
Well, let me say this, when it comes to the cost, it is Will County, and Will County, it is Will County, we collect taxes in there too. Right, good, Mike?
Right, so if you just take a basic look at the numbers and you have 7 precincts, we're gonna need at least 3 to 4 iPads for each location, so we're 20, 30 iPads. You need to pay election judges, which we probably are not doing now because the commission's doing that. So I would agree that we should do, I'd like to see this happen, but we should put in, any letter we read, we would anticipate receiving the dollars that are out there for the startup, because they've already collected. Once it's dissolved, there'll be no more collection, there's no more dollars to come in, we're getting our dollars, but it's not in our budget this year, so.
Let me say this, it wasn't always in Aurora. This was Will County, this is Will County.
Understand.
It wasn't always in Aurora, so, it may have been in Aurora, the last 20 years, I don't know when they annexed those areas in, but it's Will County.
Right.
To say, well, it became Aurora, and they had an election commission, and therefore, we're not responsible, or we want the money for it, it's our responsibility. It's ultimately our responsibility.
This was nearly done
And not only that, if they dissolve it, it's ours.
Right, we're gonna,
We have
This
no
is
choice.
This is saying whether we support it being dissolved or not. We got a handful of precincts here for us. So who votes on it? Just Aurora?
I believe it's, the referendum is on all 4 counties' primary ballot.
But only within the Aurora
Only within
corporate
that
limits.
affected district.
I wish I knew what the question was, like what the actual verbiage of the question was.
Okay, well, we should get that.
We need to get that.
Well,
Do you
you
guys
know,
have that by
well,
chance?
here's what it is. If we're gonna do a resolution, I'm trying to get some kind of direction, what you'd like to see in the resolution.
Well, she's got a sample,
Do you have a sample ballot on what
no,
the?
she's got a sample resolution from Kenny. Gretchen.
There was a sample resolution floating around.
But other counties are.
You can look
No,
for it.
he's asking for this committee.
I have that.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's gonna be in sync with what we wanna say.
Right.
Right, but it can give us a start.
I've looked it over, I have it, I can email it to you all.
Does the resolution have teeth, have power to it?
Look, since the
All it is a
But
position.
here's what it is, if the county board meeting is next week, what do you wanna in a resolution if we're gonna do one? That's what I'm asking, what do you wanna see in
We're in
the
favor of
resolution?
of the.
You wanna just say we just favor the dissolving and that we will
And I think also.
be willing to
Take
take
over
over
these
the,
precincts and welcome these people back into our fold.
bring them back into Will County?
Back home. Will
Come home.
County, come home.
Come home to Will County.
Come home to Will County.
Or
I
no,
like
you-
that.
If you still,
Hey, Nick, we got a new economic development,
If
come
you-
home to
if-
Will County.
Come back home, Will County. Come back home.
Sorry, sorry the way I look, I'm packing out.
all right,
What can I help you with? Judy from Nancyville.
We're talking about the Aurora.
What's it cost per precinct when you guys are doing precincts and you're getting them all together? Do you have any kind of idea?
Well, by the time you factor in all the judges and the
Right.
using,
new software, having the iPad, voting, all that stuff.
The machines are 5,000, the M100 is 5,000, the AutoMark is 5,000, the poll books are about 1,000 apiece. The judges, so like 150 apiece for the judges, there's 5 of them, there'll be 7 in the general election, you pay the polling place $75. We don't know if we can use the same polling places, we're going to have to dump all of their data, whether it'll dump easily or not into our database. We have to send all new voter cards, we have to train all these judges. What Nancy's been talking with the state's attorney's office, basically he said we will have to do whatever the law requires us to do.
Yep. So we're just trying to figure out how much it's going to cost us.
25,000, if I'm adding close, 25,000 per precinct.
Easily.
I'd go for 30 with all the auxiliary stuff.
210,000 if we have the 7
Right now
precincts.
they have 7 precincts up there that we feed into our data on election night. I believe there's over 7,000.
This is irrelevant to me.
Quarter million.
It's irrelevant to
No,
me.
I'm not good. I get
It's
it.
Will County,
No, I understand.
you know. I mean, there's cost of an election is the cost of an election. I mean, it's
The request was, there's already dollars that these guys are collecting. It would be nice to get some offset.
yeah. Well, don't count.
Whether we can get it or not, I don't know. Yeah, through their Aurora Commission. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, well.
Anyways.
Consolidation all the time. This would be one more.
There you go.
Chink in the right direction. I'll make the motion to put that on there.
Okay. Okay. Motion second. Just get us the resolution as soon as you can for review. So if anybody wants to comment on it, they can comment on it. So we're
We
going
could
to
have it
show
for caucus next
we're going to
week.
show support of the efforts to dissolve. Yeah.
They might have some ownership to Aurora, being Aurora.
Okay. So did we actually did I take a vote on that? Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to make that as part of the.
We got the motion.
We got a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Anything else? Mr. Brooks, you want to bring anything up?
No, sir.
No? Okay.
I have a comment I want to bring up.
Okay. Go ahead.
I just want to remind everybody, I know Mr. Brooks and myself would like to invite you to the open house at the CAC, which is going to be after the county board meeting. So we get to see the Scott building in its transformed state being used as the CAC now. So we're having a little reception there. And I think it starts at 11 or whenever
Next
we're
Thursday?
done. After the county board meeting.
Yeah.
We can just kind of walk over right afterward and kind of get a little tour and see how it's all laid
Yeah,
out.
that'd be
So I
nice.
hope you all can come.
Can you send out that to all the board members that
They sent an invitation. Yeah. They sent an invitation. I just thought I'd remind everybody to keep some time open.
Yeah, we do.
And also put something on my agenda to remind people again, or Mike or somebody can remind everybody again. Kind of board. Okay, Mr. Brooks, were you saying something?
No. I was just talking about.
Okay, we'll get to committees. Tom, you got anything on your committee?
You skipped the state's attorney's opinions. I wondered if she had reached an opinion about the home occupation and the parking issue.
I have asked Dan McGrath in our office to write an opinion, so he's working on that.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Tom or any items on land use?
I need to save space for 4 zoning cases on.
Okay, make the motion.
Make a motion.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, any other things for Tom? Okay, finance, Mike?
A couple things, we're transferring some appropriations within special funds for the sheriff's department. We're doing that twice, we're doing another transfer, funds and budget funds on hand, and we are, we'll be passing the safe passage donation from Joliet Township to appropriate that money. We'll also be doing our year-end cleanup, so we'll be transferring, increasing appropriations in the budgets, and then, of course, the delinquent tax program. That's it.
Okay, any questions for Mike? Public Works and Transportation, Mr. Gould.
We have some design engineering contracts for different places around Wayne County. We're relocating a pipeline by 135th Street and ordering some title commitments for some land acquisition in 2 places in the county.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Gould? Nope. Okay, legislative and policy, Suzanne, left. I'm sorry, judicial, I'm jumping right down
Always
to.
get skipped.
I'm just, you know,
Always get skipped.
Say?
Nothing, go ahead.
Judicial?
Oh, there's a bit confusing there with both of you talking. I wasn't sure where we were headed.
Well,
But we just have a small.
Focus on me, it's, I'm the
You know, I heard that earlier this week, and you're absolutely right. We just have a small correction on a typo with an ordinance that we need to present to the board, so.
Okay, so any questions? Okay, public health and safety, Judy?
There's nothing on the agenda for this month, and I will be asking Don, because I'll be out of town, so he'll be taking that for me.
Okay. Yeah, this kind of reminds me, you know, about, you know, attendance. Now you say you're not going to be here. You know, there are some bodies, they actually say it's an excused absence. In other words, we know you're not coming, you're just not showing up. I'm just throwing it out. Should we go to something so the record shows that it was an excused absence and you just did not come? Huh? Well, excused is, I'm just throwing it out. Well, you think it's better to say you just didn't show up?
No, I'm not saying that. I just think it's so cumbersome on staff to sit there and have to leave.
I don't know. I don't think.
But now, I do think that's a legitimate point. And for any reporters in the room, I was in Springfield last Thursday. But I think that's a legitimate point, because I think that when you are NACO and et cetera doing other county business, that there should be noticed as an excused absence. So I think it's a good point.
I'm just bringing up now. We'll discuss it later. Put it on
Okay.
there for a future. And I don't think it's, and if you think it's a burden on staff, let me know. I don't know how it's a burden if it's excused or absent.
You can always do it in the same way that when you do a conference call, you know, there's only certain ways you can phone in for a conference call. And that is illness or work. You can just call it that.
I mean, well, it could be a planned vacation, you know, I mean, this is, no, I don't think so. It's, you notify that you're going out with your family. I don't think it's bad.
So the county, so solely again, just for the county board, right? Because the county-wides don't have to
They
worry
don't have
about
to
the
report.
excuse.
They're not answerable.
They get IMRF,
Just
they
ask
get
Mary, she'll tell you they don't have to answer to anybody. They answer to the voters, just to the voters. We just have to answer to everybody. Anyway, okay, I'm just saying, we'll bring that up as a subject of how it's recorded, you know. Okay.
Seems like I'm the troublemaker of the room today.
Yeah, I just thought of it when you said you weren't going to be here. That, you know, legislative.
Unusual position.
Suzanne, legislative. Do you have anything? No. No. Okay. Any questions for Suzanne? Okay. Capital improvements, Ray?
Nope, the only thing I had, you moved to executive, so I.
Okay. What was it that I moved?
You said.
Oh,
you put it on for the land.
I can go over to you.
No, I don't really care.
You can go over to you. Put that over on Ray. He has to give him something.
Okay. I can have an excused absence. I don't need them.
So anyway, executive, any questions for me? Okay, we do need a executive session, but before we get there, let me ask if there's any public comments. Is there any public comments today? You want to say something, David?
I said noon.
Did you have something? Go ahead.
Several calls this morning came through regarding the camera and a live shot of the courthouse project, and The good news is that we're having so many people interested in seeing that wrecking ball swing.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Right, it is.
People love watching things get, yeah.
Place right now, but we're on it and we're trying to adjust it and get it back up otherwise.
Would you just climb up there and fix it?
Yeah, okay. Is there any additional comments from?
Could I ask a question
Sure.
of Mary? Mary, thank you so much for the 8 pages of the project labor agreement you sent to me. And I guess my question is, could we meet to talk about that? Does this have to be a posted meeting? Can it be a private meeting? I'd like to have further discussion about the PLA.
Who's gonna have a meeting?
Well, that's my question. Who would be included? I would like to include yourself, Tom White, and a representative that was here earlier in the week from the black contractors. Any other board member, I don't know. Ray, they came to Ray Capital, so perhaps with Ray. Does that have to be posted?
If it's just the two of you, no.
No.
Okay.
Let me say, you can meet with anybody you'd like to.
Right, but I want it to be.
I mean, it doesn't have to be an official meeting of the county board. You know, as long as you're not violating the open meetings.
Right.
By having more than 3 or more than 2 county board members there, I think you can hold all the meetings you'd like. I mean,
well, could I ask if any other county board members chose to show up to be present? Will that?
well,
Then that's the issue.
Let me say this. I think if you're going to call a meeting, and you can call the meeting, and you can do it, but if it has to be a posted meeting, Mary, I'd certainly like to see the state's attorney's office there, especially because this is regarding our contract, but it's already signed.
Right.
I mean, what it is what it is. If there's different interpretations of it, we can discuss that. So, Herbert, that's
okay.
If you want to put something together, the staff will
Okay.
help you.
Okay.
Make sure that Mary always knows.
Right. Okay.
And then, you know.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Any other comments? Okay, I have no announcements. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Let me do it when I come out. I'll set the county board agenda when we come out of.
Oh, I come out of
I don't think
executive?
these are gonna, these one of, okay. So I'll entertain a motion to set the county board agenda as amended. Second. We got motion, second, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have we need to go into executive session for the purpose of negotiations